Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. I'm a big Jaguar fan and it really saddens me what's happening with the company right now. They seem to have really lost their way. All the great cars they used to make, they've either discontinued or they're about to discontinue them. I just think it's really sad. So in today's video, I thought I'd discuss what I would do if I was suddenly in charge of Jaguar. Right, let's get started. For a start, they just need a wider range of cars. So let's take a look at what they make right now. There's the E-Pace, the F-Pace and the I-Pace. That's it. For a period, you can still buy an F-Type, an XE and an XF, but I think that's just while stocks last. I'm pretty sure once they're gone, they're gone. So to sum up, that means there's going to be no F-Type, no XJ, no XK, no XF, no XE. It just doesn't make any sense, does it? They're really doubling down on the whole grey electric SUV market. I really don't get it. So here's what I'd do. I'd make a flagship coupe like the XK. I'd bring back the XK, something to rival the Porsche 911 or the Mercedes SL. In fact, I'd probably make it a little bit like the new SL. So basically a 911 Chaser, but for the discerning gent. Crucially, I'd make the boot big enough for a set of golf clubs, but I'd make it pretty, like the previous XK was. The last XK, that facelift from 2012 onwards, was a stunning car. That could have limped on for another 4 to 6 years, but they just axed it too soon. Obviously, I'd like the new XK to feature some big, thirsty V8, but I'm quite realistic. I'm not a dinosaur. I am aware the world's changing. So why not offer some interesting powertrains? A bit like Lexus did with the LC500H. They used a 3.5 litre V6 along with some batteries. So the 500H Lexus is a hybrid. They could do that with the new XK. They really do need a big, caddish coupe like the XK. Price-wise, I'd pitch it just under £100,000, so that it's a good £50,000 to £60,000 cheaper than the equivalent Aston. Then, surprise, surprise, I'd bring back the F-Type, because I still think you need a 911 rival or an SL rival, but then you need a roadster like the F-Type. You need a 911 and a Boxster. You need an SL and an SLK. So there should be an XK and an F-Type. The F-Type was still selling well, so I really can't understand why they axed it. You see loads of them on the road, and they're really popular cars. And with very good reason. They look great, they drive great, they sound great, they're a good car. Price-wise, I'd pitch the F-Type at around £70,000, so it's substantially cheaper than the XK, but also you're appealing to a slightly different audience. Before I continue fixing Jaguar's mistakes, I need to say a big thank you to today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Car Vertical. Now, if you're in the market for a used Jaguar, and I'd recommend many, but I'd recommend a facelift XK from 2012 onwards, or a facelift XJ, especially something like a Super Sport. But those two cars aside, if you're in the market for any used car or bike, make sure you do a thorough vehicle history check using Car Vertical. It's really easy to use and it isn't that expensive. All you do is go to carvertical.com and type in the reg or the VIN. And this isn't just a UK thing either, it works in 35 different countries. It checks hundreds of millions of cars across dozens of countries' databases. So it'll tell you if it's ever been stolen, written off, had a mileage rollback or has outstanding finance on it. In addition to that, it shows you all the MOT history, the advisory items, the failures, the ownership changes. It gives you an average market price. If, for example, it's been involved in an accident, sometimes it shows you photographs of the accident damage, which no other vehicle check does. It just prevents you buying a car with a skeleton in its closet. It's a really invaluable service. Like I say, it isn't expensive and it's cheaper still if you use my promo code HIGHPEAK. That's HIGHPEAK, HIGHPEAK, all one word, and you'll save yourself 20% off each and every vehicle check that you do. This isn't just a one-time thing either. You can use that promo code again and again and again, and it'll save you 20% each and every time. Or alternatively, if you forget that promo code, you can click the link in the video description. Right, thanks Car Vertical for sponsoring today's video. Back to JLR's woes. So, for a period, there has been a 3 Series rival, BMW 3 Series or Mercedes C-Class rival, in the XE. Then there was the XF, which was like a 5 Series or E-Class rival. Then there was the XJ, which is like an S-Class or 7 Series rival. It all makes sense. There ought to be a 3 Series rival like the XE, but it does need an overhaul. It's been around now for a good number of years and it is showing its age. What I would propose then is not only make a saloon XE, like they've done for years, but also make a coupe, like they do with the 3 Series, and also a convertible, like they do with the 3 Series. Audi do the same thing, Mercedes do the same thing, so why didn't Jaguar jump on that bandwagon? They're missing an awful lot of sales there. Also, while I'm in charge, I'd ditch that dreadful diesel Ingenium engine. It is just complete trash. What I'd instead offer is some interesting petrols and PHEVs and EVs. They have all the technology there, I just don't know why they can't use it. Then there should be a new XF and a new XF Touring, just like with the 5 Series and the 5 Series Estate and the E-Class and E-Class Estate. It's an extremely popular market that, and by Jaguar axing the XF, they're losing an awful lot of sales. When the original XF came out in 07-08, it replaced the old S-Type, which was showing its age at that point, and the XF was just like a breath of fresh air. It needs to happen again. This might sound like I'm clinging on to the past, and I promise you I'm not, but that market still exists. I just find it completely strange that Jaguar are turning their back on that market. It's weird. Then, sitting at the top of the saloon car lineup, there should be a new XJ. Jaguar have always made a luxurious yet menacing saloon car, but at the moment they don't. There's no XJ. The XJ has always been a car for royalty. a car to take the PM to Parliament. And the fact that they currently don't offer one shows you how rudderless Jaguar is at the moment. I thought the last XJ, the X351, was a beautiful thing. It came out in 2010, so granted it's a 14-year-old design now, but they could have limped that on for another 2 to 4 years. All it would have needed was another minor facelift, and yet they didn't. So I think we've got the saloon cars sorted and the sporty cars sorted, so let's talk SUVs. I know people balk at the idea of a Jaguar SUV, but you've got to move with the times. You see SUVs everywhere, so what does that tell you? People like them, let's make more of them. So here's what I'd do. I'd keep the Jaguar E-Pace, that's the smallest SUV in the lineup, it's based loosely on the Range Rover Evoque. I'm not a huge fan, but they sell well, so you may as well keep it. I'm not exactly the demographic for an E-Pace, but it works, so you may as well mop up some sales from that segment. Then you've got the Jaguar F-Pace. Now the F-Pace is a mid-size SUV, basically it's a Range Rover Velar underneath, and I like them, I rate them. They're good looking and practical, so what I would do is just give them another facelift, maybe change the motor options, and then keep it for another few years. You know, perhaps make a full EV version, and then we're golden. But here's what Jaguar should do. I don't know whether they will or not. I don't know whether anyone from Jaguar is watching this video, but here's what you should do. They should make a bigger SUV based on the Range Rover Sport. So you've got the E-Pace based on the Evoque, the F-Pace based on the Velar. There should be a bigger Jaguar SUV based on the Range Rover Sport. There should be some sort of Cayenne, Touareg, X5 rival from Jaguar, and there isn't. It's madness. I read a couple of years ago some rumours of this, but it never materialised. I think Jaguar were planning to call it a J-Pace, and it was basically a Range Rover Sport, but in Jaguar clothing. But for reasons which remain unclear, they never made it, and I think they're losing an awful lot of sales. I'm no automotive expert, contrary to what the Sun newspaper called me, but that wouldn't have taken an awful lot of work. Now this last suggestion is a bit controversial, but bear with me here. What I would make is a small Jaguar hatchback to rival the BMW 1 Series or the Mercedes A-Class. I don't know whether I'm right in saying this or not, but I think Jaguar want to steer away from their current demographic. They want less red-faced golfers and more young urban types. They showed a bit of willing with this with the F-Type. I think they want to attract a younger audience. You know, look at the whole marketing campaign with Tom Hiddleston, the whole good to be bad thing. They want a younger audience, so make them a car. You know, look at the new Mercedes A-Class. That turned Mercedes sales around. It's been such a popular car, like them or not. You really can't argue with its success, and that's what Jaguar should tap into, especially if they offered it on some sort of PCP deal for $299 a month. I guarantee there'd be a queue outside every Jaguar showroom. What I'd also like to do is scrap the I-Pace because it's hideous. It's a really ugly car, that. I've had a few, I'm yet to do a review with one on the channel. I should try and get hold of one really, but I'm just not a fan. They look kind of like a toad. So I'd axe the I-Pace, or at least give it a massive facelift, an unrecognisable Sharon Osbourne-esque facelift. I know what you're going to say, a whole new product range will take money, I understand that, I'm not an idiot, but there are ways of raising that money. There are ways of getting more investment, so we really can't use that as an excuse. And I know it's probably not as easy as what I'm about to say, but the Jaguar or the JLR parts bin is bulging. So I don't see why all those buttons and switches and infotainment screens couldn't be just rolled out across this new hypothetical range. Anyway, I think that's about it. Sadly, I'm not CEO of Jaguar, so this won't go further than this video, unfortunately. But I wish it would. I just hate to see Jaguar going the way they're going. It just seems like a terrible shame. If you've got any suggestions, then let me know below in the comments. But for now, thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. I'll leave the links below. And yeah, cheers guys. See you next time.